Alright, should be live. Hello guys, welcome back to my stream. Today we're going to be working on the Zilean ASU. And as you guys can see, I've already pretty much finished the low poly retopology. I know it feels like the progress that we've been making has been pretty fast, but that's just because the limited time that we have to try and get this out before the end of the month, and also doing only like 2 streams a week. And last week we weren't able to do any, so that's why he's made a lot of progress. But here you guys can see how his topology looks like so far. So right now he's sitting at around 20,000 triangles, which is pretty much like over 5 times his current version. The current in-game model for Zilean is like 4,000 polygons, which is pretty low. But yeah, here is the Zilean model. I made this ring that he has out here. I ended up making that in Illustrator and then bringing it into Maya as an SVG, and then doing like a trace of that, and then optimizing for the poly count. So that's how we got that ring. And then, of course, we got the little rocks as well. These were pretty much just decimated from the high poly. I didn't really want to go in there and like retopologize because, I mean, it's just rocks, so I don't think it's that important. And then, everything else I think has some pretty nice topology. His eyes as well. I'm going to start doing this from now on. This is like the first time I've actually done this, but I kind of blocked out a pupil using a different material just to kind of see like how big that would look, or the iris, just like the iris and the pupil at the same time, just so I could see like how that would look once we start adding texture, and it looks good. So now let's see. Pretty much we're on the reorganizing UVs stage. So what I'm going to do is, I've already kind of finished making up the seams for all the individual body parts, except it looks like the beard here needs to be have new UVs. So I'm going to put on some music as well. So let me do that. You probably listened to that like 100 times. All right. So for this object, I'm going to basically create a UV here in the back and make it like super small, and then the UV that we will always see in the front is going to be a lot larger. Alright. Just kind of selecting all those faces. Cool. So you're camera based and then unfold. Hopefully no weird things will happen. Alright. I think those UVs are fine. It's not perfect, but it's okay. Cool. That part's done. Let's see what else has messed up UVs. Doesn't look like anything else. Okay, cool. So now we get to the fun part of reorganizing the UVs. I always like to place the face UV on the top left corner. And then I try to get the body underneath the head as well. Usually for female champions, their face UVs will be like pretty large. But since Zilean has like these long eyebrows that are floating, as well as the big mustache and the beard, there's really not that much to see of his actual face. So in terms of texture quality, it really doesn't need to be that high. I'm just going to combine the entire model and then delete history. So we can just focus on the UVs. Alright, I'm going to get and set the same size. So for this whole top piece of his clothing, doesn't really need to be that big. I think in terms of priority, his hair is going to be pretty big. So let's try to make that as large as possible. I try to separate it all out into different strands, so let's see. Let's try to organize this in a way that makes sense. Just gonna move all these over here. Just kind of see how that fits in there. Okay. Usually when it comes to hair, I try to keep it like as linear as possible, so it doesn't have any like weird shapes coming at all angles. That can be really tough to work with on UVs. If I wanted to, I could try to make Zilean into 2 different textures, so that way I'm optimizing, like maybe I can put all of his hair and the clock on one texture sheet and then all of his body on the other. But I think I want to try to keep it all as one sheet. I could also maybe extend his entire body into 2 texture like UV spaces and then try to like squeeze it all into just one, kind of like I did for Fairy Court Graves. So let's see what works. Just trying to figure out a place for this hair. Right there. See if I can move the shirt a little bit. Let's get this hair strand in here. Flip that around. Try to put it there, I guess. Okay, I think that's all the hair pieces. Let's make sure that it is. Okay, what's this big chunk? Oh, that's the beard, actually. Okay. I'm gonna make sure they're all the same size as well. Oops, looks like they're not. Okay, it's just the beard. All right, and then the underside of the beard. I'm gonna split this off so we don't have that shape. Flip it. Okay. All right, and try and sneak that in there. Right there looks fine. Need to check if it's the same size. Okay, it looks like it is. Kind of looks like a shrimp or something, or a fishtail. All right, I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller because it is the underside of the beard that we won't really see that much. Cool. Yeah, I think I might do like one big texture sheet for Zilean. Split him off to 2 UV spaces and then shrink it in. So it looks like these hair UVs are getting quite small, and I don't really like that because I want to put as much detail as possible into the hair since it appears to be a pretty big part of his character. This can be a little bit smaller. All right, and this must be a little strand up there. Can I sneak that in here, actually? Nope. All right. Let's check out if we got all the hair pieces. Looks like we do. All right, and then let's get the eyebrows. See where those are at. Okay. Gonna make sure those are the same size as the larger UVs. You can see how small that's getting, and I don't like that. It's not gonna be good for texturing. I'm just gonna take all of his hair and kind of put it over here. Okay, and then the mustache. The mustache and eyebrows are mirrored. Set those at the same size. I don't like this UV for splitting off to give us like a Y shape, but it looks like it fits in here just fine. So I don't really care to adjust that. What's this? This is the other side of the mustache. I'm just gonna mirror that over. 0.01. Oops. 0.01. Okay. Select everything again. Delete by history. Okay. I think that's all the hair. What's this? Okay, that's the area in there. So I'm going to take the eyes. Whatever I can try to grab of it. I want to make it about the same UV size as the face. He's typically depicted with glowing eyes, so it doesn't really matter that his texture for that is high quality. Although I kind of want to give him like normal eyes, and maybe for like whenever he ults or something, his eyes will glow. I'm going to select the ear here, set it to be same size as the head. All right, that's his clock. I don't want to deal with that right now. We have that. I try to make all of his UVs kind of like this straight UV sheet. These are the feet. All right, and the pants. Oh, looks like for the beard here, there's like a weird polygon here. That's not using the same UV that I want it to. So I'm just going to UV that again. And it looks like it's splitting off for whatever reason. I want to cut. Actually, I think it's fine. Why did it select the mustache? Okay, want to mirror this. Okay. A little bit of repair work. Put that back in place. Cool. All right, pants. These don't need to be that high resolution. I can make them a lot smaller than the legs because of the overlapping kind of coattail action that we have. So those can be quite small. And then the legs here can be, I mean, it doesn't need to be as large as the torso, but it can be a bit larger than the pants because they're going to be visible sometimes, more so than the pants. All right, and these are the little tassel things. I'll make this the same size as the shirt. Just gonna scoot all this over. All right, and then, so we got the feet, we got the legs, pants. Let's get the coattail. And see, I also try to keep the coattail pretty straight as well. I'm gonna make that the same size as the shirt. Let me make that a bit smaller. Actually, maybe I'll put it down there. Okay. All right, we got those, and then the underside of the coattail doesn't need to be as large. Try to make it as large as possible, but it doesn't need to be as large as the outward facing faces. Put it around there. Let's move that over a little bit. Okay. We got the coattail. Let's work on sleeves. Sleeves, I'm going to make them same size as the actual shirt. That looks good. I'm gonna grab. I couldn't really straighten this one, like the inside sleeve. Although I want it to be around the same size as the outward facing, but maybe a little bit smaller. It looks like it fits just here, just fine. All right, let's grab the hands. The hands, I did them a little bit differently than I normally would. I basically just cut up all the fingers to be separated. So I want these to be about the same size as the shirt, so it looks like they get around that small. So I'm just gonna manually scale them. I think around there is fine. A little bit smaller. Okay. That looks good to me. Alright, let's make this the same size. This is like the palm of the hand. This might be a little bit too big. They almost look like the same size, or a little bit bigger than the shirt. Let me check. No, I think it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, I'm gonna grab these side pieces. Keep that about the same size as the shirt. Maybe flip it. Cool. Alright, this is the underside of the belt that we don't really see, so that can be pretty small. Just select that UV, set it the same size, and then make it smaller. I'll maybe put it right there. Okay, what else? What is all this? Oh, that's the arm. Okay. Arm we want to be the same size as the shirt. I always select like a main piece of clothing, or like usually the champion's face, as like the baseline for the largest UV. And the piece that I want the highest amount of detail on as kind of like the baseline. And so that's what I base all of my other UV shapes on. So for the neck here, I want it to be same size as the face, but also a little bit smaller. So looks like it might fit here. And then what's this? Okay, this is a clock. One of the clocks at least. Alright, this is another clock. Very important and large piece of his model. Although it does seem to get covered a little bit by this detailed ring, as well as his actual character model. So really, most of the focus should be on that front side. Although I can also kind of keep them the same texture, like the front and back. But I might want the back side to be a little bit darker. I mean, if we keep them the same texture, then we'll be preserving the same amount of detail for both sides. But the problem is, like, it's gonna look a little weird because this is gonna be a little bit more lit than the backside. So we'll figure that out later. Okay, this is a big ring. So that's also gonna be something that I kind of squeeze in. The ring doesn't really have that many details. I mean, it kind of has like these slight edges to it, which I don't think will be necessary to do in game. I think I can just paint the whole thing kind of like a gold and just call it a day. But that's something we'll have to figure out there. I'm just gonna grab all of his clock pieces and kind of stuff them on the left side or the right side here. And we'll figure out how to position those later. This is the underside of the big ol' hanging piece of cloth. Make it the same size as the front, and then a little bit smaller. Just kind of flush that there. There we go. All right, what else? What are these pieces? It's a part of his shirt. And then this one is also part of his shirt. Okay, when I set, just try to stuff those in there. He doesn't have like an inside mouth just yet, but when he does, I usually like to do that after I've textured the whole model, because that way I have like all my shapes laid out. I don't have to do any UV adjustments, and then I know exactly where to place like the teeth and the tongue and all that. All right, so looks like the only remaining thing are all these little pieces, these gold pieces. So I think I'll make all these separate. The underside can be the exact same texture because we're never really going to see it, and I don't think it matters. These as well. Kind of align those. They're going to have some different shading, so it's only appropriate to separate them. Okay. And then all these little ones here around his wrist. Obviously mirrored on this on the other side as well. Kind of want to make the UVs look linear in the order that, like a clockwise order. I'm just gonna mirror it. I'll just do one side and mirror it over. All right, mirror little golden pieces. Okay. And this one will go next. And then this one. And we're back to the first. Okay. I'm gonna make them about the same spacing. Okay. And then the inside doesn't really matter. Can all be the same. All right, and then mirror that over. 0.01. All right, and then we have these ones on his legs. I want these to be the same. Why isn't it responding? Heck. Stack shells. Let's make this a linear order. Cool. And just kind of stick it over there. All right, and then mirror plus. Yep, that's fine. Okay, and then I have to do the rock UVs. I might just do like an automatic UV on this one. Let's see what we can get. Less distortion, fewer pieces. Yeah, I don't really like that. Automatic UVs is just always terrible, I feel like. Always. So I'm gonna have to do it manually, unfortunately. So this should all be combined, right? So I'm gonna separate them. I'm gonna create the seam here at the middle, and that should be good enough. Come on, reset like that. I want to keep it at the middle. And then connect it. Cool. That should be enough. Let's see how that looks. I feel like it's fine. I mean, they're rocks, so it's not like the UVs need to be perfect. I think that's fine. And I think these pieces are actually separated. So I wonder if I can just do, it's like separated but combined at the same time. Why did the decimation do that? Ugh. No me gusta. Okay, I'm just gonna redo that one. Alright, so it's just this piece. Let's do a cute little Dynamesh. The highest quality possible. Decimation master, preprocessed current. It's taking its time. Alright, and then decimate 0.1 probably works just fine. Maybe a little bit less, 0.05%. It's a little bit too high poly still, 0.01. Okay, I think that's perfect. Good export. Let's call this Zilean Rock new. And then undo, because we do want to bake. If we get to texturing today, then I want to show you guys some baking as well. Desktop. Okay. We got our brand new rock, and it's all one piece. Fabulous. Camera. Alright, and let's start creating that scene. Right here at the middle. Cool. Got those separated out. Unfold. I think that's fine. Just throw that over there. This one should be rather simple. I think I'll just select all these faces here at the back and just separate it out into 2 pieces. Okay, that works. Throw it down there. Alright, and then we have this last piece of rock. It's a bit more complex. It's going to be separated into multiple pieces. You know, what is this song? So I'm just trying to create the seam. It's right there. Ah, this gigantic clock is getting in my way. Alright. It's not letting me. Okay, there we go. And then separate this piece. Trying to find where that crevice is. Okay. And then this little piece is going to be by itself as well. Somewhere around there. Right there, I think. And then I don't like what this is doing here. This vertice. Actually, I think it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. It should be a different color. I can't really tell. Okay, cool. So all those pieces are separated now, and we can unfold. Cool. And I might want to create a seam like around here. I usually don't like if there's like holes in my UV like that. So I'm going to try to unfold it into something more linear like that. That looks great. Cool. Got the rock now. Let's combine him. Delete history. Okay, cool. So we've got our rock UVs. Let's kind of throw them here on the right side. And here's all the little golden coins, whatever they are. So these are all the individual coins. Kind of want to make them at the same size. And then these are the back sides. So it's just going to be like a straight line of coins. We're going to put that somewhere. Get these rocks out of here. Somewhere here, I think. Just gonna scale it down. Try to make the spacing even. Okay. Cool. I might be able to get them all in one square. Let's see if we can. Let me grab this size. All right, these are the back sides. These don't need to be as large as the front ones. Maybe I'll stuff them here in this little space. Let's go. Hello, Guardian. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining. Zilean ASU, let's go. All right, just stuff those in there. I could also try separating out the coins into little pockets. That will kind of conserve some space as well. I can imagine that whenever I make the teeth and tongue, I might be able to stick it right there in that space. This is the eyeball. I think it can fit there. Another gold coin. There. Almost fits there. Let's kind of push that down a bit. Okay. And then I'll make these aligned. Cool. Optimized. Can I sneak the eyeball here? Yeah, I can. Cool. Maybe, nah. Maybe move this down here. Okay, cool. All right, so now we have to deal with all the hair and the rocks that we made. So all the rocks, I want them all to be the same size. And then maybe around that big. Just kind of flip this around to a place that fits. Okay. Let's kind of see if I can stuff a rock down here. Like that works. You kind of want to leave a little bit of a gap between UV shells because once you go down in texture resolution, then that's when the seams become a little more blurred, and you don't want textures, UV shells like kind of blending into each other. That's why you always want to leave a little bit more of a gap. Right there is fine. Here. All right, I believe that's all the rock pieces. This big old clock piece is going to be quite the challenge. But again, because it's mostly just going to be like one color, it might have just a little bit of shading. It's not really going to have like complex details. It might not need to be so big, you know? Let's maybe make it a little bit smaller. Somewhere around there. All right, and then this whole disc, I want to be separated. The back side I want to be a lot smaller than the front. I do actually want to separate those out. Actually, they might be fine as the same size, just because his body does cover that front side a little bit. Maybe a little bit bigger. I mean, we'll see once we start adding the hair. All right, and these are all the little insides of this golden complex disc. So these really don't need to be that large. They can be pretty small. It's not going to be any complex shading happening there. I'm trying to see if I can maybe stuff it here. It looks a little bit too small. Right there. Okay, and then what's this? This is the portal. I'm not really sure what the texture is going to look like for this. I might make it like a Shurima portal and just make it like static. Maybe I can try to do like a warping kind of particle effect in game if I can. So, because that's going to be a straight up image, doesn't need to be that high quality. Hi, hello Team Onyx. Thank you for joining the stream. Okay, this should be aligned. I'm going to say match UVs, and that should align all those UVs. All right, and then got the ring. Let's kind of make this the same size as that big old piece. Maybe I'll place it that way. Okay. And then what's this? This is the ring of that disc. I'll make this about the same size. Okay. And finally, we have the hair. That looks super relaxing. Thank you. I hope it is. UV is not exactly my favorite part of the process. That's definitely a necessary one. I'm a bit concerned that these might be too small. So if you can't tell, these are all the hair chunks. It's like the beard, the big freaking hair that he has, the Yasuo hair. So I definitely want these to be large enough to have really nice details when I start texturing. So I'm just gonna kind of systematically place these. Maybe I can flip. Somewhere around there. It's the underside of the beard. The UV is kind of weird. I might need to fix that. Okay. Flip that the other way. Flip the other way again. Okay. Right there looks good. Try and stuff that in there. Kind of focusing on the larger pieces first. So those will be the most complex to fit in. Now the way I had it here was fine. Just kind of nudge these around. Put that somewhere else maybe. Rotate. And nudge that in there. Okay. Grab a larger chunk. Stick that there. Maybe I can kind of flip this that way. Let's see. If you like working with puzzles, like piecing together a puzzle piece, this is definitely what it feels like. It's kind of a complex shape. I think it fits here just fine. Cool. Then we got this beard chunk. This is the front part of his beard. Around there is fine. It's kind of small. We'll see once we start texturing. I can always adjust the UVs when I start texturing. I want to rotate that. See if I can place that there. And then we have a little piece that can kind of go anywhere. These are the eyebrows, so I kind of want to keep them relatively close to his face. All right, and the UVs are pretty much done. I can't believe we actually managed to fit it all into one UV space. I want to see if I can kind of enlarge some of the pieces, give us more resolution to work with. See if I can nudge that a little bit there. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that is it. We're ready to start texturing. So what I'm going to do, is there any benefit to keeping it to one UV square? Yes, it's so you can just use like one texture sheet, like a 1024 by 1024 or 490. Oh God, I can't think of the number, but 2048 by 2048, 4096 by 4096. So it's just like a square texture, and that's like most of the what most of the League of Legends objects kind of have. They just have like a square texture. Okay, Zilean LP. So what I'm going to do is grab my high poly and just merge all of the visible parts down. So let's see here. I'll delete hidden. And then we're going to bake this high poly texture onto his low poly. Delete hidden. Merge down, merge down. I just want to merge all the pieces that are visible or have like high poly sculpting. Some of them don't, so. Okay, and then the rocks. Okay. And you can bake there's a variety of ways you can bake. You can bake in Substance Painter or you can bake in ZBrush. I'm going to try to export this high poly into ZBrush or Substance Painter though. Did I say Substance Painter? Yeah, I meant you can bake in Substance Painter and ZBrush, if I didn't say that. So we're just going to, we basically combine the whole model. Now we're working on decimating. It's currently processing the entire model. So it's trying to figure out, oh, what is this shape? You know, all the different shapes, and then we can start decimating. We have to decimate because right now this model is at 8.6 million polygons, which is very high. If we try to bake that many polygons onto our low poly, Substance Painter is going to take us a long time and it might crash. So that's why we want to decimate the model. And decimating is basically going to try to keep all those details and shapes around the same kind of area, but it's just reducing the poly count. So it's gonna take a little bit more time here. It's almost done. Yeah, 8 million polygons is a lot. I mean, I have a pretty good computer, so my computer is able to handle it a lot better than some. Let's decimate by 20%. See how many polygons. It's 1 million polygons, so let's get down to like 800,000 if possible. All right, perfect. 800,000. All right, let's export that and call it Zilean HP. All right, we no longer need ZBrush. Let's see. Oh, okay, cool. Hi. Okay, so let's pull up Substance Painter. Normally, when I'm going to start texturing the model, I will separate him out into different pieces. So I'll like separate his beard and the hair and the clocks all individually, so I can see them from different angles, every single angle of that particular piece of the model. But for right now, we're trying to bake the high poly onto low poly, and they need to be in like the exact same space. So let's search for Zilean LP. It failed to load the scene, and that's usually because there are UVs somewhere, and it looks like I forgot a couple pieces. Whoops. My bad. Whoop-de-doo. Let me see if I can squeeze these in there. Okay. These are the outward facing gold pieces, and this is a backside. What is this backside for? Got all those bottom coins. Where's the UV for that? Let me select, get the same size. Let's see if I can squeeze that in there. I can make a little bit smaller, it doesn't really matter. That's the backside anyway. Okay, and then all these little pieces. There's one that fits there. Stick one right there. Can't stick one there. Let's see here. Nope. Where can I stick it? Here, maybe? Okay. Let's just like rotate this one around. So we have a little bit of space. Okay. Cool. Now there should be no problems. All right, let me export him again. Zilean LP. Hello, Shamaran. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining. Let me grab the Zilean LP. Save. Wait, why is it saving? Zilean LP. All right, cool. Here he is. He's in Substance Painter. Yay. All right. So now let's go to the baking window. Oh, I'm gonna save real quick. Zilean ASU. And then we're going to grab our high definition mesh, grab the high poly. And I'm just gonna reduce it to 2K. And here we can see the high poly is being projected. It kind of acts like a shell on top of the low poly. So I'm gonna, well, I guess around there is fine. Let's see what that looks like. Sorry, bake. Might make the stream a little bit laggy. And I'll be wrapping up the stream here in around 5 minutes. So if you guys have any questions or comments you want to make, please make sure to do that within the next 5 minutes. It looks like we won't get to painting today, like proper painting, but at least we're setting up the model to start painting for next week. So let's check out the bake. Let's see our AO. All right, I didn't bake the clock in there, so it's fine that it looks all messed up. But it looks like some of the faces there, some of the hair as well, gives us something to work with. The rocks look pretty much perfect. I like where those are at. That gives us a lot to work with. The pants are great. I like where those are at as well. So overall, like, it's not a perfect bake, and usually you'd have a much better bake if you like separate all the individual pieces and kind of try to project it on, like, for example, if I separated the high poly hair and then just baked all the high poly onto the low poly there, instead of trying to bake his entire model at the same time, then it's going to have like a much better result if I kind of separate things out. But since we're only focusing on hand painting and we don't really need to worry about like normal maps and yeah, normal maps, I guess, it doesn't really need to be perfect. So, I mean, this is just enough to kind of give us like, okay, like if I want to go in here and start texturing, I can see there's a fold here that I want to preserve and whatnot. But yeah, let's see if we can maybe start. I always like to start with the skin layer. Grab a gradient. And always my first process is to mask out all the different layers. So starting with the skin, I'm just gonna try to color pick here from this LOR piece of artwork, because it seems to have the most accurate skin tone. Maybe this emote is a little bit better as well. Just gonna try to adjust the colors. I'm gonna shift this a little bit towards pink. Okay. And then let's do just a little bit of a blur to kind of soften things just a tad. You can see there's a bit of graininess, and the blur helps to kind of get rid of that. What is the use of a curvature map? So a curvature map, let me go ahead and show you guys. This is what a curvature map looks like. It basically maps out all of the crevices of the model and the edges as well. So this will be really nice for kind of outlining all the edges and the carvings of the model, and it kind of gives us something to work with. So I hope that answers the question, but yeah, it's basically what it does. It kind of just maps out like the edges of the model. So that'll be useful later, and I'll show you guys how we use that on the next stream, I think. So the next layer I'm going to do is the hair. The hair, all the eyebrows. The high poly eyebrows were a little bit thicker, so that's why there's a little bit of weirdness there, but that's okay, we'll paint it away. Okay, that's all the hair, so I'm going to call this hair. Use our AO map. It looks like we're about at the 1 hour mark here, so I'm going to be wrapping up the stream after I pick all these colors for the hair. Make sure that's set to color. Sometimes it'll lag if not. I'm just gonna start sitting. Because it's Friday, I might extend the stream just a little bit longer. I'll probably do like maybe 20 more minutes. Hello, Martinez. Thank you for joining the stream. All right, I think that is a good color. Maybe something a little bit more towards blue. Yeah, I'll extend the stream just a little bit longer because I see a lot of people are coming in just now. All right, those look like good values. Maybe a little bit brighter there. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to map out the golds. Just because that's such a prominent part of his design. Figure out where all those golds are. All the little coins that we made are going to be gold. Okay. All right. Throw on the AO. All right, and the color I'm going to choose for that. I'm actually going to look at Casante's textures and color pick from there, because they're both from the same region, and I want there to be a consistency between the textures for champions that are in the same region. I also have my Cassiopeia model that I want to look at as well. Use that as reference for the gold colors as well. Okay. I'm actually going to color pick from Cass because I did color pick from Casante for her. Adjust the values. Oops. And there's fine. Makes me want to explode some stuff. Looks really good. Thank you. Where did you learn 3D? I've been pretty much self-taught. So I would say like just watching YouTube videos and just jumping right into it really. And just kind of experimenting with League of Legends modeling. I feel like that's where most of my learning experience has come from, because I'm immediately optimizing for a game already. I feel like that was a really strong way to learn 3D modeling. So I would definitely recommend that for anybody else. The rock texture needs to look a little brown. So I want to color pick from the image and adjust for League. The beard thing on New Zealand is so clever on my own. Yeah. Kind of adjust those values to give us more contrast. I want these to be a little bit desaturated. Let's call this rocks. I'm gonna add levels just so we can have more control over the value range. There we go. Looks good to me. And then I want to do like the red pieces of clothing. Let's add the AO. I'm going to change the color. I'm actually going to color pick from Casante for the red. A little bit of dark purple. A little bit darker than the highlight. Okay, and then let's check out the Zilean. Okay. I'm gonna get rid of the levels I put here. So this is red. Oops. This is red, this is red. This little belt is red as well. And I think that's about it. Okay. Then we have the sleeves. So I'm just gonna clear the mask. I'm gonna color pick from this. I believe they're supposed to be like a tannish kind of color and not like fully gray or fully white. Paint the town red. I don't care, I paint the town red. Alright, select the sleeves. I think the pants are the same color as well. Let's check out the model here. Yes, they are. I'm just gonna make them a tad bit darker. Maybe a bit towards orange. Okay, I think that works. Whoops. I think the model has it a little bit more orange, and that may be because of the lighting that's happening here. In the splash art, they seem like kind of tan colored. And on this like flat LOR art, they're a little bit just tan. So I might desaturate just a little bit. Kind of give us like a little bit of a grayish tan color. Don't really know the lyrics. Doom Music Wah or Unreal. This is the Riot Creator Save playlist, so all the stuff's from Riot. Do you do this for fun as a hobby or something more? So I kind of do it as a hobby, but also to kind of build out my hand-painted portfolio for Riot. And other games in general. Any other game that really does hand-painted stuff. I'm going to actually do these red. Okay, and then he has the bandages, which I'm not going to create a layer for. Actually, I will, but I'm not going to like go in there and paint them. So let's see. I think Cassiopeia had a nice gray color that I want to try and mimic as well. Just so if these two were in the game for whatever reason next to each other, they kind of look like they come from the same place. Clear mask. Okay, and these are going to be my bandages. Okay, and in terms of blocking out, I think that's pretty much it. I got about 10 more minutes left in the stream, so I guess I'll just kind of jump in here and start painting. I like to set my FOV to as low as possible to kind of get like an orthographic view. I'm actually going to create a layer for his eyes. Actually, iris. And then for his hair, I'm just going to apply that mask to his eyes as well, because those are white. The iris, I'm going to set to a dark black color just so I can see where that's at. Set our paint mode to UV. Brush, circle. All right. Show wireframe. I believe this is his eyeball. So I'm just going to try to place. Right there. Cool. That looks good. And I usually try to render out the skin first, so we're going to do that. Is there like an old face I can reference? I guess this is fine. Oops, looks like my line of symmetry is a little bit off. And that makes sense because the clock is kind of asymmetrical. So, wait, where'd my symmetry line go? This clock is asymmetrical, so I have to realign the line of symmetry. So I'm just going to try to insert some numbers there. I'm going to turn on the wireframe to make sure I'm dead center. Okay, it's a little bit too much, so 35, 33, 33, 2, 33, 1. Okay, let's set to 3. That looks almost dead center. Just need a little bit more. 6, 9. Okay, that's close enough. Cool. So that's how you adjust the line of symmetry if it's ever off. All right, and now we can start painting. Make sure my brush is set to camera mode. And I usually like to do a very rough kind of block out here. So he's got some serious eye bags. I'll kind of block out the nose, cheeks. And I did model him to kind of have like an angy face. He's kind of angy. The nose down here. Oh, I forgot to separate out his model into different pieces, but that's okay. I'll do that before the next stream. Have we already listened to the song? I'm just kind of take a saturated color. These blocks are kind of bothering me, so I'm just gonna get that out of the way. Excuse me. Okay. Try to take a darker color, shift it towards red. And try and build out his nose shape here. I have about 5 minutes left in the stream. You guys have any comments or questions? Do you know what happened to Brandon Shepard? Or do I happen to know Brandon Shepard? I have no idea who that is. Nor idea. Alright, I might color pick from here, since there's some good colors. Do you prefer texturing like this or in other painting programs too? The only other painting program I use is Photoshop. And sometimes I like to paint, like if I only want to focus on 2D, then I will paint in Photoshop. And that's usually much later on in the process when I've already kind of figured out like the lighting and how some of the materials are going to look. Because when you're painting in 2D, like you're kind of painting only with the UV shells, and a lot of them have like weird shapes and stuff. So you want to make sure that you really define those out in your 3D program so that you can kind of figure out what's happening there in those UV shells. And then you can kind of paint from there. But yeah, I only paint in Photoshop like after like the overall model has gotten to a good place in the 3D view. Kind of use it as like a polishing, refining stage. One nose highlight there on the edges as well. I'll do a little edge there. Do a little highlight here on the edge of the nose. Just kind of drag that down because he does have very visible nabonisal crease. I don't know how to say it. Nabonisal, whatever. It's the crease you get as you get older. It's like the laugh line, I guess. All right, and let's get in some of his lip. His lips are not really visible in this icon specifically. Let me actually double check. It's visible here as well, kind of in there, and here. So a little bit of inconsistency there, but that's okay. We work around those things. It kind of reminds me of that picture of that old guy who ate like a bucket of paint or something. All right. Just defining those lips, and then let's get the little crease. Heck W. Where is the little crease in the mouth? I think it's right here. I think this is the edge. I don't know. It's going to be a lot easier once I separate the model, so I don't have the mustache in the way. Okay. And then let's add our highlight. All right, so we are pretty much at the end of the stream here. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you guys tuning in, helping to support me. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you ever want to be notified whenever I'm going live, which is usually, I think from now on, it's usually going to be Wednesdays and Fridays. On Wednesday, we'll be working on Zobi, kind of finalizing her. She's pretty much almost done in terms of texture. And then I just need Blue Jay to kind of work on all the VFX. I might help him a little bit as well. But yeah, just gonna kind of finish this lower area a little bit. I usually like to add a little bit of a gray stubble as well. Here as well. It might look weird because he has a full beard, so maybe not. Alright, so that's it for today's stream. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys next week. And yeah, bye. We'll do Zilean on Friday. Until next time.